can ask me at this point before I start sets up to the new topic. Okay, so
बोल यार तेरा मुंह ना निरा नैश लग रहा है नैश मैं भी एक गल कहा गुस्सा तो नहीं करेगा राम मैं कर लेना गुस्सा ना बोल ओ हेलो ओए गुस्सा बोल ओ अपनी लड़ाई हो रही मैं गुस्सा कर लेना ब्रो तेरे एक गल कहा गुस्सा तो नहीं करेगा बोल यार तेरा मुंह ना निरा नैश लग रहा है नैश मैं भी एक गल कहा गुस्सा तो नहीं करेगा राम मैं कर लेना गुस्सा ना बोल ओ हेलो ओए
Joban, please mute yourself.
okay, thank you. So let me introduce server operating system. Introduction. So this is our main operating system. This is for your reference, right? So history of the operating system starting from Windows 1 to Windows 10 cannot be in history. It's our still we are this is our present. Those are our present, right? So so this is something uh, under the client operating system. Those are the client operating system, right? Client means it's you and me using as an operating system on our computers, correct? um, Windows Server is basically, have you ever heard about the server operating system? Operating system, you know that term, right? Which is used to operate your computer device, as we discussed earlier, right? So it's a software, piece of software written by a team of peoples, work together, evolved over the time, and it helps to communicate with it helps the user to communicate with the machine. So we can classify the operating system in two main category. Even we have some other versions. So for this course point of view, we can say there is one kind of is client, another is the server type. Client can be Win7, can be Win8, can be Win10, can be Linux, right? Or any other operating system, Apple computer, Apple Macintosh, iOS operating system. Server have a other chain of server operating system. Server has its own history, server operating system. As the client has its history of like Windows 1 and Windows XP or Windows etc. Vista, etc., etc. So server has its own history. Like I don't like to go too back in the history. I don't like to bore you by telling the history stories like Windows Server 2000, Server 2000, right? And then we had a version of 2003. I'm just starting from server 2000. We had the server quite earlier, just like we had a client earlier. And server 2008, and then server 2000, 2012, release 2. And then 2012, and then release 2 is the updated version of this. And then server 2016 is in production, and server 2019 is in production, right? This is the latest one. So I'm not going too back and too new, but I'm just giving you the one which will link you to the latest market, latest industry trends. Server 2012. Okay. So in through this course, you're going to learn uh, you're going to learn, practice, refer, mainly a server operating system. Now, the question you might be having, what is the server? What is the client? Does anybody has a question like that? What do you
Yes,
think?
ma'am.
What is the server? What it could be? Think about it. And if you have any thoughts, share with us.
Ma'am, any computer that is remotely accessible over WAN.
Yes, it can be a computer which is remotely, well, that can be a client computer as well. server which basically has resources, manage resources, manage resources, manage resources on network. A network could be a local area and WAN, but we will be focusing in this course local area, right? Um, Now, what you're going to learn under this topic or lesson, what is the server, what is a client workstation, key features and their appropriate use. Hardware requirement is mandatory to know about the every operating system has its own hardware requirement. You know, well, you cannot just install any operating system to any machine, right? If you think, can I install server on my laptop? Well, you need to check your resources, system resources, and the resources required for the server, minimum resources, and then you match. If it is matched, then you can use. Um, uh, so let's have an we're going to also discuss our virtualization in a little bit detail. I gave you a little thought earlier, but we will formally address those things. So now the question is, what is a server operating system or what is a client operating system? This could be me or you or your friend, right? Sitting alone or in front of computer, right? So you are the boss to your computer, and it is up to you. You allow the other peoples to use your computer or not to use your computer, right? Computer is your resource. This is your resource. You own it, right? You own it. Or basically you have here files, applications, data, what else, pictures, videos, and etc, etc, right? Right. So if you allows other users or friend, hey, can you can use my system, right? So it means he going to look at your files and folders and pictures and videos, whatever. So this is something we called a desktop operating system, whether it is laptop or a desktop, it doesn't really matter. So it optimized to interact with the users in servers and runs users application. So this desktop operating system is can be the part of this network chain. This is the server. This picture is a little blurry. I'll see if I can change it to something else, or you can find it on internet. So server is this is the heart of the network, right? The main person. You would say main resource, like you said, guru, right? So that is the guru on network. Okay. So if it is a guru, it means it has something more than the connecting workstations. Those are the workstations which are connected to this guru, which is server, right? So server has uh, I think some people are there, right? They're under invading your room area, really? Uh, Service is a piece of computer hardware. A service or server? Yes, it's server, right? So can you just send a message to me, or you can send a message to all, right? I think you can send it to everyone, right? When you share some piece of information, right? So let's the other benefit it. Even it is your words, but if you don't mind to look at other in this class can look at your definition. Yes, that's correct. Server, just not the service, right? So those are the different. Those are the different. That's really hard. Weekend is hard for you guys to connect to the class, right? So you have so much fun around. Anyways, we'll try to focus. Okay. So those are the different stations, and we call them client or workstation, which is not a GRU, right? But they are connected to this main server, server station, server computer, right? So server has some more hardware, more hard disk, strong CPU, you know, in higher, richer in memory resources, those kind of things, right? So server can be in different size, not that smaller. It can be huge, can be bigger than that. Yes, it is bigger than that. Can be in one cabinet, right? Just one cabinet can be a server, you know. So workstations are the computers which are connected to the server and provide services to the users and clients computer on a network. This is the network. This is what we call this is a cluster you see here, cluster around this group. This is what we call network. Network means the group of computers are connected in a way they can share the resources, right? And but who will taking care of this sharing? And anyone can just bring their laptop connected and start accessing server. Not really like this. So server has some a lot more things which helps the user to manage the resources, right? So who can access the resource, who cannot, what task can be perform, what jobs you want to access over the network. So that is the server. Server is a machine, in an operating system which runs on that hardware is a server operating system. Client is a machine, a computer, nothing else, but an operating system which runs on that client computer is a client operating system like Windows 7 and 8 and 10 and Linux or Unix and Apple Macintosh operating system, something like that, right? All right, so question is server system services. What kind of services this GRU is going to provide, This is the GRU. The technical word for this GRU is server. And the program which is operating this server is a server operating system. It's easy to understand now, right? Ma'am, please allow Manjot Kaur. Okay. Let me see. No, I think I allowed everyone. Is there anyone is outside the classroom and knocking the door? Knock, knock. Okay, Manjot is there. Okay. All right. Try to stick to this computer classroom until unless if there is a technical problem, an internet problem, that's another thing. Anyways, so now the question is, well, that is a GRU. What the GRU can do, right? You don't know what I can do, right? Other than teaching Windows operating, I can do a lot more things other than those two. Well, in technical terms, not in term of like in general, right? So now the question, what this GRU can do for us, right? So operating system, server operating system can provide web services. Means you want to go to www.game.fun.com or something like that. So you can come to that server and it will take you to the server which has game fun or something like that, right? or you want to go to, so you want to access some email services. Yes, some file storages from print services, shared applications, client server application, unattended installation, user management, resource management, information management, and network management. Makes sense? Or you want me to explain to some extent all of them, if not clear? I think names are self-defining. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Those names are self-defining.
Yes, ma'am.
You understand what kind of services they're going to provide, right? By their name. So we will be working on some of them, or most of them you can think under this course, right? So those are the how we can allow our server, our group, to let the user to go to website, to do the file access, share applications, and unattended installation. Yes, there is another remote computer, this guy is alone. Not really, but server can install an operating system on this machine, or in this machine, or in this machine, or can install any application on that machine which is connected to their system. You understand what I mean? And this kind of installation, well, this is server of an organization, and a small organization, for instance. So if you need to install an operating system to 10 computers, so being a network technician or administrator or team of IT peoples, IT team, so would you feel comfortable or easy to go to 10 stations individually? Hey, I'm here to install operating system on your machine. Not nowadays, no. We don't prefer to do like go to individual machine and install the operating system on it, and go to individual station and install an application like Microsoft Office, for instance, to each machine, right? Makes sense. So what we going to do then? The server, you're sitting here, right? So you're sitting on the server side and you can install an operating system to those remote systems. And that kind of installation says unattended installation. So we're going to work with user management, means resource management, information management, who can use those computers and who cannot use those computers, right? So some strangers were sitting there, right? So those strangers, they cannot just come in our network and start using our resources, right? So this is managed by the server, the group kind of thing. All right, so have a look at the server. How does it looks like? Is it only the desktop appearance? Yes, it could be like this for a small business. For a blade and rack mounting service. This is another kind of server. And as I said, it can be inside the cabinets, big cabinets, right? Those are the data servers used in banking systems, Huge cabinets are just lined up. And this is what we call server room, right?
Big organizations, ma'am. This type of server is used in big organizations.
This is in bigger organization, right? Yes, this is for a small business. You just have one small desktop computer. You can call that desktop computer. If it is good in rich in its resources, memory and CPU and hard disk, you can assign a tag of server and install. Well, what make the server? That's an operating system, right? This machine can be if you install Windows 10 on a machine, it becomes a client. Yes, if you install a server operating system on it, it becomes a server machine. Yes, right? So it is an operating system which make the server, right? Or make the machine a client, right? Now it is the time to plan something other than barbecue party, right? So what it is? Uh, so I'm getting some pretty nice answers here. Let me see what the people are saying about server is a computer connected to the computer. Okay, Bhavesh. So you sending me pretty good stuff. Appreciate it. Then can you share with the other users? Yes, that's better
Ma'am,
because
I have shared.
yes, when you send some answer to me, when I ask you something and you love to answer it, you're very welcome. But don't just whisper in my ear, right? Tell everyone, right?
Ma'am,
So
I
when
have shared to everyone.
yes, when you send a message to me only, it means you're just saying, "Hey, Bushra, can do you know this is the server?" Don't tell other people. you know you could do that if it's something personal and you're about grade about some of your personal issues and concern. Yes, you can directly send that message to me only so other people cannot see it.
Ma'am, I
But
have shared with everyone too.
okay, thank you. So that is good. It's other people's also do the same thing, right? So not only the Bhavesh is responsible to give us some definitions and kind of things, other peoples are also encouraged to do the same thing there, right? Correct.
Ma'am.
um, the exchange information, exchange thought, it's helpful. You listen to other people's thought and other people's gonna listen you. This is what we call information exchange. Okay, so I am not only resource in this class, as I said mentioned earlier, but you guys want me to treat as a behaves or like a guru. That's okay. I don't mind. But you're also the one of the important resource in the class. So you carry a plenty of information, so you can exchange it. The useful information, I mean, which can help other people to understand the course contents. Uh, the role you now we're going to planning what? Well, how to set up our server, right? How to make a machine a server, how to behave a machine is, hey, you are now server, you are the guru, right? So you're going to manage the resources on the network which we're going to set up. So let's plan. So Windows Server, you pick this operating system, 2012 R2 edition, right? So why you're picking this? Why are we going to pick this one? Because the roles you intended the server to perform, the virtualization strategy you intend to implement. Okay, you guys can interrupt me anytime if you have question or put up your digital hand. Or let me tell you one more thing. If you need a break, we can set up a break time, right? Because 3 hours, nobody can just uh, follow a 3 hours straight working. So if you need a break in between, so we can set up the time now. What's time is right now? 12:49. So 12:49. So when you like to have a break, we can have two little breaks, right? Or one break, just one big break. How would you like to?
Just one
One
big break, man.
one big break, okay, not too big, right? So a big break means doesn't mean hey, I'm going on break and then you won't come back. Uh, Virtual you may, but I'm not. Yeah. So let's set up a time for one break, right? What it would be from now if I'm going to count. 12:30. How about tell me the time? We're going to finish by 3 p.m., right? Hopefully. So how about 1:30?
1:30.
Okay, very good. You read my mind. So 1:30, okay. So then we're going to have 15 minutes break, correct?
30 minutes or 15 minutes?
15 minutes break, right? So 15 minutes means if it is in
India.
India, right? 15 minutes, don't double it, right? So Well, you can have a fluctuation of plus minus 5 minutes, plus minus 5 minutes,
Okay, ma'am.
right? But think about 15 minutes and then we rejoin. It may take next 5 minutes. Okay. So just remind me when we reach to that point. So I might not be having eye on clock. So you just remind me. Okay. So why we pick this operating system based on those factors, like what is the role you want to the server performs, virtualization strategy, and licensing. Licensing is also important because organization need to purchase it, right? So a server operating system, which operating system version addition is going to purchase, because it depends upon how many users they're going to connect to that server operating system. So we're going to plan like that. So there are many additions, like 7, 8 additions to my, if I remember. So of server 2012, but we're not going to address all of them. Mm, we can have a quick thought about four common type of version or additions. Those are the additions. Like Windows 7 has an editions, home edition, enterprise editions, professional editions, something like that. This is what we call Windows 7 edition. So Server 2012 also has editions like Data Center, Standard, Essential, and Foundation. So how they differ from each other? They differ on those three bases, right? Those are the three parameters or factors on the basis of which they differ from each other, where they're going to use the licensing and what kind of application roles they're going to play. So let's consider data center. Data center used in big organization, like the name indicates, it's going to be used in banking information, where there are a lot of data need to be manipulated, where a lot of virtualizations happening. So we pick the data center edition. It is designed for large and powerful servers, support up to 64 processor. Do you know how many processor your desktop has? It maybe 2 to 4 processor, right? Processor your user desktop can have, right? So data center can have 64 processor at a time in one server. I showed you the picture here. It's not just a one processor. No, it's not just one processor. It's a one server, but it has multiple processor. It's a one machine, but multiple processor. Has a fault tolerant hot adds processor. Fault tolerance hot add means if one of them is stop working, so system is running, because turning off server is difficult. Shutting down server means you disconnect the users from the server. So fault tolerance means if something happened wrong inside the server, need to be replaced. Processor, hard is any other hardware, so you can just replace the hardware without disconnecting power. That is what we call hot add processor. So only available to purchase through Microsoft Volume licensing program in original equipment manufacturer. Bundle with the server, right? OEM, which we call OEM version. Have you ever heard about the OEM version of like Windows client operating system? Original equipment manufacturer version. So volume licensing means if you purchase this data center license, so how many users can use it, right? So it provides, this is what we call 50 users. It is purchased for 100 users to be connected. Then this is what we call the volume license. You purchase your Windows operating system. This is for you only, right? Not for entire user on the network. Standard edition includes a full set of Windows Server 2012, and it only differs from data center by the number of virtual machine instances permitted by the licenses. Essential version basically include nearly all features from data center in standard edition, right? Like server core, Hyper-V, Active Directory, Federation service. Federation service, that is Active Directory Federation service is a part of another course. Hyper-V, I'll introduce you to some extent. Server core is basically a server without graphical user interface. I'll show you in sometime in this lecture, in this class. So it is limited to one physical or virtual server instance, and maximum users can, like 25 users, can be connected to Essentials.
Ma'am, it's like official office applications also, the 25 users.
25 users means I showed you this kind of thingy here, right? So kind of this, right? How many this cluster could be connected to this? If this is a essential server operating system with essential or data.
Like ring topology, although.
Huh?
Like a ring topology.
Who's talking? Amanveer?
Arjun.
Arjun. Well, that is another thing. I'm not addressing topology in this course. Topology.
Actually, I was just asking. It's like that only. A server connected, multiple users connected to a server in a ring-like structure.
Can be ring, but this is not a ring topology. This is a star topology. This is what we call a star.
Okay, sorry, ma'am.
This is a star. Ring is a kind of like this, where stations are connected like this. But this is not a part of the course, right? Well, there are so many things in network that we just focusing on related to. This is related to pure network, right? If I'm addressing a networking course, well, I'm addressing an operating system course, right? So this is related to the physical parameters of networking. I'm addressing the software side, Windows operating system side. Okay, make sense? So how many users it could be, as I said, like how many are kind of connected to the server, right? So right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, for instance, 8 or 10 users. So 25 users can connect it. 25 users can connect it. Those are the users or client or desktop, whatever you like to call, right? So those are the one. User means if someone is connected through the computer, right? This is what we call user. So standard, we talk about data center. Essential is which allows 25 users to be connected. Okay. And foundation is basically limited to 15 users, right? A small business, you're running your own small business. Like I showed you the one, this is a small business application. This is a small business application, right? A small business means just 10 to 15 users, would be maximum 10 to 15, right? You're running your own shop or business or whatever. So like anyone is running a business here in this class? I'm expecting more. I think most of you are running business. Is that correct?
No, ma'am.
Not really.
No.
No, ma'am.
None of you have any sort of business, really? I don't think so.
No, ma'am.
Really.
Which business, ma'am?
Any kind of business, like in
Family
business.
business also, it can be included.
Yeah, your family business is going to be your business so later on sometime, right? You're going to be part of that business sometime, right?
Yes.
Yes. So family business or any kind of business, they have computers. Is there any business can be run without computer?
Yes,
Not
ma'am.
No,
really.
ma'am.
No business can be run without having computer or network setting. They need that one to communicate the out of the world, other users. So this is what I'm telling you, the examples, right? So 15 users can be limited to the foundation and support basic server features like file and print services and applications. So we're going to think like that. Let me this link I had provided online in module 1 and 2 already, so you can get that information for future reference in this course. Minimum hardware requirement for any kind of server 2012, whichever edition you're installing. Minimum hardware is 1.4. Check your CPU. It's important because I will ask you not today, later, to set up a server operating system on your machine. How, that's I'll tell you later. But check your CPU speed. Do you have something 1.4 gigahertz 64? This is a minimum requirement to install Windows Server. Windows Server 2012. 32 gigabytes of hard disk and memory space. This is minimum, right? Minimum. Recommended, you can have anything more than that, right? So 512, at least 512 MB of memory in drives. You can have external DVD, keyboard, mouse, depending on your needs, your system need. So check out your system. Excuse me. So what CPU you have? Can you check it?
2.50.
1.5. Everybody can check it, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So your system is fulfilling this minimum requirement.
Yes, ma'am.
All please, I need more response, right? Because
2.6 gigahertz.
yeah, this is minimum. This is minimum. I know you are richer than this minimum resources. You are
2.80, ma'am.
huh? You are richer than I think, right? Really? So correct?
No, ma'am.
No, no.
No.
You're not richer than I think. The international students, Canada, learning in Canada. Well, teaching is not that expensive. Well, that's another thing. But learning in Canada is not that cheap for international students. It's not that cheap. Not everybody can afford it. So you guys are lucky. You are lucky that you had this opportunity. That's a great opportunity to learn in Canadian institution. In anyways, so let's come back to back in term of different admissions, right? So here, this is in general. This is a minimum requirement in general, means, any system which must have at least this kind of configuration to you start planning to install what you going to check first? This is the first thing you're going to check, right? So what I have it, what I can afford, plan install operating system server 2012, right? Release 2. So now question is, what you going to install? Okay, I'm going to install server 2012 Windows operating system because this is my course target, right? So learn the Windows operating system in a networking environment. Well, I'm not teaching networking hardware in this course. Please bear in mind. So yes, those things I will address in another course. I'm working with you. IT essentials, but it will come later, not from the beginning. So network hardware will come later. So this course is not intended to address the network hardware, but it is intended to address the operating system which work in Windows operating system, which work in a network setup. You understand the difference? Do you understand the difference? Right? Makes sense? So I'm not addressing the hardware, the topologies and routers and etc. in this course, where you would learn something in another course in IT Essential later on there. Anyways, so data center require minimum RAM of 4 terabyte. Standards like maximum 4 terabyte maximum. This is the maximum. This is the minimum, right? And let's come to the maximum. This is the list of the maximum. How far you can go? 4 terabytes in memory of 464, and number of users. Well, unlimited users for data center, unlimited users for standard, but limited users for essentials and foundation. So can have any number of users, 50, 100, 200, 250, whatever requirement, right? So because this is used in big organization, big business, as you are planning to run sometimes later, big or small business. This is for a small business, and this is for large business or enterprise business. Enterprise means big organization. Okay. It has symmetric multiprocessing SMP CPUs. How many? 64. Maximum 64 CPUs. They work together. 64 CPUs doesn't mean 64 computers, right? So rich hardware speed. So the other users, like millions users or 100 users, 200 users can connect to that. For essentials, mandatory maximum limit of 2 processors in one processor in foundation, which requires 15 users working together. What kind of roles you can assign? This is very important, This is something we're going to work in this course. Okay, so please pay attention. No tension, just little attention should be good. Are you guys following along?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So roles means what it's gonna do, right? What applications? This is what I said earlier. Roles. That's important, right? So server, okay. Which edition? Okay, you have decided data center in this course. I will ask you to set up. I'll show you and help you to set up data center on your machine. Not today, most probably not today. Maybe tomorrow we'll see how the things go. This is the roles means what it is intended to do. What it's going to do. This is server, okay. So what it's going to do? So we assign the task, like you have a task from, like, your mom have given you a task, right? Your father had given you a task, to you, to your sibling, to your brother, to your sister, right? So they play their roles, right? So
Yes, ma'am.
server also plays roles, means task. What task it's going to play? Well, it can be in ADDS, Active Directory Domain Services, can be a file services, print and document services. I gave you a long list here. This long list, right? This long list, right? So that can be played. It can assign any and all of those roles, right? We can assign, those are the roles, services, because it has those services available. Well, it can say, hey, I can do those things, right, for you in your network. Then you're not going to have all of them on your server. Right? You can do all those things. Let me set up everything on my one server. Really, we don't do that. Just one server is not going to play all the roles. But we may assign a bunch of roles on our server machine, like file service, print and document services, web service, which is basically, when I'm saying web service, it's basically IIS, right? So IIS is Internet Information Services, which connect you to the internet site. You're going to set up your website and stores, hopefully, to some crude level, not to the like in professional level, just to some crude level, because okay. All right. So DHCP services, right? So you will assign or work with dynamic host configuration, DNS, domain name services. Are you familiar with those? Any of them other than this course? Have you ever heard any of them? Hmm?
DHCP, DNS, and web services.
Okay.
Print and document service also.
Okay. Akash knows. I'm writing Akash name beside this. Akash knows this one. Am I right? And he said that I'm writing number 1 here. He said that I knows this one. Um, this one too, right? I'm writing number 1 here. And he says I know this one too. Anybody else? Huh? Anybody else?
Oh, ma'am.
Ma'am, I heard about Active Directory Domain Service.
Who said that? Well, multiple
Harjot,
people.
ma'am.
Harjot, okay. Harjot says, okay, please mute yourself if you're not talking to our class. So better to mute yourself. Oh my God. Okay, so Harjot said that he is a little bit aware of this. I'm saying number 2 here. Okay, anybody else? Any of the roles or service you're aware of, or have ever heard about, or ever get a chance to, how does it work, or any crude idea you have? That's it. Only one of you, right? Says I know because for any reason, because of any reason. Anyways, don't worry if you don't know anything about it. My point is just to get an idea, so it can be helpful. Don't shy to tell me that this is what I know and this is what I don't know, right? Because if you're not going to share with me what is familiar to you, It may take a lot of time for me to explain the things from way basic to the level which you be meant to be, right? So if you tell me, hey, this is something basic, just move on quickly, then that's gonna save our time. You understand what I mean? That's why I'm asking time to time. Do you know this one in advance or something like this? So then I can quickly move on to the topic, other topic. So Active Directory is can be installed on data, yes, center, all of them to some limited, to some limited. That's why we're going to set up a data center edition on your machine. File services, yes, for all four versions, and DHCP, domain, and those have a specific function, print as their name indicates, right? So we'll talk in detail more as we move on in this course to individual roles. Hyper-V is, how about Hyper-V? Well, I post a link about the virtualization on D12. Please don't ignore my posting.
We don't ignore it.
Yes, thank you. Because that virtualization is a huge topic. I cannot just address each and everything. So that's why I post the link for your reference. So Hyper-V is a platform which is a service basically provided by the server operating systems to allow or set up a virtual machine on the server. A virtual machine. I told you a little story of virtual machine last time, if you remember. I remember I told you, right? So virtual machine. So how many virtual machines there could be in data center? No limit. You can have, like, this is your server, right? So server, this is the server, right? Main server. How many virtual machines you can have? Another computer is running, another virtual machine is running, another virtual machine is running, right? Another virtual machine is running, correct? So this is VM1, VM2, VM3, but the physically this is one server. But in this course, this server is not physical server in our case. We're going to install this server on a virtual machine itself. You understand what I mean?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is what we call nested virtualization. Nested virtualization, right? So this server, which I'm not going to ask you buy a new computer in, because if you like to learn something in this course, you need to have Windows Server installed on your machine, right? But you're gonna say, Bashar, I already have an operating system installed on my machine, Windows 10 or 8 or 7, something like this, or Linux or Apple. Well, where I'm going to install my Windows Server then? You will install Windows Server on VM, right? And that VM is not a physical server, it's a virtual server, right? And on that virtual machine, well, I won't do that because this is going to be quite heavier for your computer to ask the VM to have more VM inside it, right? So, but it could be possible. It could be possible that you can have uh, using an Hyper-V service, Hyper-V role, right? Install on this VM. And this VM can in turn runs other instances of VM on itself. Make sense? Hopefully. So how many VMs we can have, like, just in case, other than, like, I'm talking in term of when we have a physical server, a physical machine, right? A physical server running server 12, 2012 operating system, Windows operating system. That's our reference operating system in this course. That is, how many VMs it can have. It can have unlimited if you install data center on it. If you install a standard, then you can have 2 virtual machines inside it. If you have Essential Edition, you can have 1 virtual machine installed. But if you install a foundation, then you cannot have Hyper-V on it, Hyper-V role. You understand what I mean?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what features you can? Features and roles are different, Don't mix it up. Those are the things we're going to work. Features, roles, you're going to work one after another, and install and understand and digest and test all those things. You will do it in this course about those roles. And features are what the features it offers, like in service managers, service core mode, Windows PowerShells. Those are the tools inside it, right? This is not a tool. This is the role, right? Those are the tools. Like server manager is a tool there, and you can use. We will be using server manager and server core mode and Windows PowerShell. Hot add replace memory, failover clustering. Not all of the features, but we will be playing with those 3, right? In this course. This is for your information. Those other roles, those other features it can have it. And data center can have all those features, other than this retail one. And Essential cannot have all of them, some of them, right? And Foundation can have, check the link I posted on D12. You can find those information there as well. Foundation can have server manager is always in. Otherwise, we cannot manage things on server. Server is the manager it's a guru on the guru, right? Guru of the guru, you can say. So server is a guru operating system, right? And then who is running, controlling, and managing server operating system is a server manager. That's a manager inside. So all editions have it running. All right, so let me go to question if you have.
No, ma'am.
Okay, so supporting server roles like a directory service, a basic category of server roles, directory services, which basically stores, organize, and supply information about a network and resources. It's a directory. Active Directory services, like, right? So which basically keeps a track of what resources I have it on my network and how to manage them. Infrastructure services provide support services for the network client. Application services provide communication services, operating environment, and programming interface for a specific application. I think I'll ask you to look at the link I had posted there. And That's a very good link, and I found it very, I think, useful. So here is a brief summary of uh, different additions I addressed, like foundation and essential, standard and data center. And here is a comparison table. So this is exactly what I have explained it. So those are the roles it can play in services, Active Directory services, Active Directory certificate service, which is used along with the IIS, but that's not the part of this course. This PowerShell is a part of this course. Server core mode is a part of this course. Hyper-V, we will address a little bit, not in detail, Hyper-V at the end. So data centers in, PowerShell is available in all the 4 editions. PowerShell is a tool. It's available in your client computer as well, Have you ever used PowerShell? PowerShell kind of thing. Hmm? Have you ever really?
No, ma'am.
Honestly?
Yes, ma'am.
No,
Well,
ma'am.
I thought you work with the PowerShell, and I'm going to give you a quick quiz on PowerShell. Not possible?
Not possible, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
See? So, but you're using Windows operating system. Which version you have it on your computer?
It's used for framework, I guess.
Huh?
Ma'am, it is used for frameworks. PowerShell is used for frameworks.
Well, you can use it for many purposes, for all network management tasks or client-based tasks. What you can do with the server manager, that's the same thing you can do with the PowerShell. Well, it comes to like Windows 7 and 8 and 10. Those are known to you, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Those okay. Everybody's using Windows 10 on their machine. Everybody. So put up your hand. Let me see how many of you. Or Windows 10. Put up your hand, please. Digital hand, I mean. How many of you have raised? 18 people have Windows 10, really? So other people are doing what? Other operating system? So tell me the operating system if you don't have the Windows 10. $30. Okay. Now some people are changing their mind. No, I don't have Windows 10. Let me check it out. Correct? So earlier 30 people say, yes, I have Windows 10. And then no, let me check. They pull down their hands. So check it out now if you're not sure. Maybe you have Windows 10, but you're not aware of it. So I think, to my understanding, how many you are connected? 58 people. Awesome, beautiful. I think only 30 people are running Windows 10. Really? How about the other people's? What they are running on it? what you are running, so now the people who raised hand for Windows 10, and if let me check what other operating system, right? What other operating system? Well, 30 means that just half of the class have Windows 10 on their computers, right? So
Yes, ma'am.
what are the other half is to have their on their computer? No
Yeah,
operating
can do XP, ma'am.
XP. May I know your name? XP. XP or X2, right? Windows X2. It's a secret operating system. Just kidding. XP is too old to have it in 2021. No, you cannot run your favorite game with XP now. Well, 30 people are saying I have Windows 10 now. I am doubted, right? What does it mean? Someone can help me? What does it mean? 30 people have Windows 10. So your friend says that maybe other 30 people have Windows XP running on their computer. Is that correct? Really?
No, ma'am. Windows 7.
Okay, let's do the another poll. Okay. 30 has okay, can you those 30 people pull down their hands so I can do another poll before I go for the break or you go for the break? Just a quick poll. Um, okay, so thank you. And now once you pull down, but don't participate in two polls. It's gonna confuse me, right? So another poll is if not Windows 10, what else? Windows 7 or Windows 8? Windows 7, right? Okay, so pull up your hand or put up your hand if you have Windows 7 on your computer. All the directories are virtual, but have you ever seen a telephone directory, the book form, right? So that's a kind of database which basically contains the information of the like phone numbers, address, the user personal name, something like that, right? So directory service, you can think like this, which basically stores, organize, and supply information about a network and its resources. So infrastructure services provide support service for network client. And application service can be any other application, print service, web service, any other application you want to run it, right? So that can be also managed on the server. When I'm saying directory service, let me be more technical in that term. Active Directory service roles, those are the directory service roles you can find on the server 2012 in up version as well. Those roles are also available like in higher versions like 2019 and 2016. ADCS, this is abbreviated as ADCS. Well, that's not a part of our course, but that's giving you in big picture. So Active Directory domain services, this is we're going to discuss in this course, right? Not now, some later in this course. So Active Directory Federation Service, Active Directory Light Weight Directory Services, ADLDS, that is Active Directory, another version of Active Directory. So Active Directory Right Management Services, ADRMS. So actually the thing is, let me tell you. We have one dedicated course. I'm not sure in the same program you're taking. Maybe in the same program, you all are in technician program, right? Network technician program. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
So college basically offer like another course which is dedicated for Active Directory, right? Active Directory. And that address mainly all those roles, right? In detail. So this course, I'll give you a thought about an introductory thought about on this one, right? Later on, not right away from the day one, because this is not the main topic of this course. Our main topic is Windows operating system using and managing working in a network environment. So this is a specific tool, a service, and there's a separate course which address all those directory service rules. Don't worry, you will learn more in details each and every term as you move on in this program. Infrastructure services, yes, those are the services we're going to address in this course, like a DHCP, Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol, DNS server, and Hyper-V, network policies. Those are the three ones. So we will work on those two first, and other than we will address this one as well, Hyper-V. Network policy and access services in PAS, Health Registration Authority, HRA, and remote access and other service infrastructure services. Window Deployment Service, WDS, and Windows Server Updates. We'll be talking interactively with those services. DSCP, DNS, WDS, somewhere in course you will find those terminologies, WDS and WSUS, Windows Server Update Services. So those are the three families of the services I'm telling you. One is this family, directory service, right? Directory service infrastructure provides supports to network clients. This is for support for network clients. It provides support to network client. Well, server role is to connect the client to another client, connect the client to the network. That is the server role, right? Okay. So application services, basically, there are a bunch of application services which can be installed and running on Server 2012, like fax service, file and storage, print and document, remote desktop RDS service. A remote desktop service is a kind of like, I have told you, like unattended installation, like you sitting here or your server is here, right? So you're sitting on this side and you want to do some task on this machine. This is connected, right? Or not connected, that's another thing. So if it is connected to the server, right, this machine or user or client. So for instance, you need to install an operating system install, right? Or you need to figure out what resources, folders, and directory and applications this computer is running, right? So how do you access this computer from here? It is the remote desktop service, RDS, which helps to take the control of the machine as an admin on another one. You understand what I mean?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you ever interactively worked with RDS? Hopefully, you know this application is common.
And
Some
TeamViewer, AnyDesk.
team viewers, yeah. So when you call some help desk for some IT for your internet connection, like here, I don't know in back home your India, but here if you call them, first thing they ask you, can I get the access to, can I access your computer or something like that, right?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
this is a kind of remote desktop. So they give you a code and they get the control, and then they can look at your computer and go to the from folder A to folder B and click here and click here and perform certain tasks, fix your problem, and good to go, right? So what they basically, what kind of services they are using, this is what we call remote desktop service. Remote desktop means you're remotely accessing a desktop while you're not the first user of on it, right? You're not a first user on it. So you can remotely access, being a network admin, you can remotely access any other machine, whether it is a desktop or another server even, you can remotely access it, right? So all you need to do, you have to be connected to it. So web server, I think I gave you a quick thought earlier. This is a list I had given you here earlier, right? So this is the list, long list, and it is classified into three groups, right? Three groups: directory and infrastructure and application. This is under the directory services roles and infrastructure roles. So you have to install those roles, right? Server just can do that, but well, it's just like me, you're going to say, hey, can you fix my this problem on computer, X problem or Y problem or Z problem? Well, I can do, right? But you need to set up a service for this, right? So the college need to ask me to do this for them, then I will do that for them. That is that correct? Right? So exactly like this, the DHCP server can do those things, but you have to explicitly assign those roles to the server. And how would you do that? You will learn in this course, right? As we move on, hopefully. All right, so supporting server virtualization. Virtualization, uh, you know, let me see if I can take you to the link, or okay, virtualization, not all the editions support the virtualization. There are some PAS and WAS, like physical opera. What is the supporting server virtualization? Server virtualization means it has a huge meaning, It's not that simple. Server virtualization means a physical server, such a huge machine. Such a huge machine it is. Such a huge machine, such a huge machine, such a huge physical machine, running 64 processor inside. Maybe 8 processor here, maybe 2 processor here, right? Terabytes of memories, right? So such a huge machine, right? Cannot be just reserved only for one task, because it consumes cost, right? And resources. So what the virtualization means, like in one physical server, you can have multiple instances of other servers. Like you install server 2012 on that machine, and then you can have 3 more virtual machines which are running server 2012 on the same machine. You understand what I mean? Or maybe the different version of server, maybe server 2003, 2008, 2019 or 16. Now we don't have 14 and 15 in between, or 13 in between. They don't launch server every year, So PAS is basically physical operating system environment, and WAS is a virtual operating system environment. In this course, you're going to work with both, right? What is the pause for you in this course? What is pause in this course for you? Hmm? What do you think? What is the pause physical operating system? No idea? I think I asked this one before. I did a poll before we go for the break. Hello, are you still on break?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Are you guys on break or you have finished your break time?
No, ma'am, we finished our break.
Okay, awesome. So, physical operating system, yes. What is the best example in our scenario, in this classroom scenario, in this learning environment? What is the pause?
Asking for example or
Yes, example.
we are using currently like our basic laptops and PCs.
Laptop and PCs and computer. I told you I'm not addressing computer mainly. I'm addressing the operating system running on that computer, right? So physical operating system means which is installed on a physical computer, which
Like
you can. No.
RAM of a system.
I think you still thinking me.
Window, like window.
Who said window? Manvi? Yes. Correct. He's right. Other people who are still thinking RAM, ROM, they're thinking that she's the same girl who taught us in the morning. So, you know, so just keep those thoughts aside in your memory. That's difficult, I know. So this is the Windows operating systems we are talking about. So physical operating system means the operating system which is installed on physical machine. You understand what I mean now, right? One of your friends said the Windows operating system. What you have on your current system, what it is. You said that we have either Win 10 or someone said Win 7, and the people who didn't respond, they have Windows XP, correct? Well, that's a suggestion from you people. I'm just telling your answers, right? I'm repeating what you said. 30 people said we have 10 in Windows 7. The 7 people decided we have Windows 7. In XP says whoever didn't respond, we assume they have XP. Maybe as well. Assumptions could be wrong, all right? Anyways, so that is what we call physical operating system. Why I'm calling it physical, because it is installed on your physical machine, correct? It's the one which is installed on your physical machine. That is the physical operating system. WOS is the virtual operating system. Well, what if I create another machine on the top of it? Another machine on the top of it, right? You're going to say, hey, this is my laptop. How can you do that? Well, you have told me that you are the guru. I can do this, right? Correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
this is what we call, okay, this is the virtual machine. I can name 1 and 2. Well, this is a virtual machine number 2, or we're going to have load 2, 3 machines on it, right?
Oracle.
So
Edrica can be an example for WAS.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
No, I'm just asking that, like Oracle and Edrica can be example for WAS.
Yeah, Oracle Virtual Machine, but that is a virtual machine tool, just like in a Hyper-V. Hyper-V is a tool for hypervisor is a tool inside the server, right? Windows tool, hypervisor to create a virtual machine. That's another thing. Creation of virtual machine, you fabricating a machine? Not really. You're creating a virtual environment. Virtual environment. It's a virtual classroom, right? But it behaves. You're working as like you're working in a physical classroom. This is what expected, right? By default or ideally. The difference is what is the difference? You create a virtual machine. Well, whatever tools you use, there are a bunch of tools to create the virtual machine. Like you named Oracle, right? Are you guys familiar with Oracle Virtual Machine tool?
Yes,
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
You all have installed on it on your machine?
Yes,
Really?
ma'am.
Yes.
Really?
Yes, ma'am.
All of you, right?
Yes,
That,
ma'am.
that's very good. So
Yes, ma'am.
that's gonna reduce some time for me to tell you some other things if you already have them, because this is also required in this course, right? In this course, an IT course, I'll ask later on in there. Oracle Virtual Machine is a tool, it creates a virtual machine on your physical one, right? It's a virtualization tool. And like an Hyper-V, I said Hyper-V, hypervisor, right? Hypervisor has is a tool which basically a hypervisor, Microsoft hypervisor. VMware is
Red
another
Hat,
tool.
ma'am. Red Hat virtualization.
Red Hat is an operating system. That's a WOS. That's a WOS, virtual operating system. That's not a virtual machine. That's an operating system you installed it. Well, if you install on virtual machine, it becomes a virtual operating system. If you install an operating system on physical machine, it becomes a physical operating system. You understand what I mean, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So as we're not going to create like and purchase a new machine for every course. So all you can do, you can create a virtual machine for every course the professor or instructor is asking you, right? So then you can install your a virtual operating system there. So what virtual operating system? Server 2012. Do you understand what I said?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I wish I can have more input. Whether yes or no, that's not that can be in either way, But I like to hear more yes answers. I like to hear yes, like more than the no answers. So data. So how many POS instances you can have on data center? One for each physical machine, right? You install a physical operating system on each data center. And then unlimited WAS you can have. Two in standard, as I said, one pause or WAS, right? Was that clear? It's very important to understand at this point. Otherwise, you might have some challenges as we move on in this course. Question, if you have, you can ask me at this point.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay, so now other parameters you need to consider while selecting the operating system or planning for installation is the licensing. So data center don't have any license for retail. Standard does have a retail license. Retail means purchasing license for both server and clients, right? When you install a server, on machine. So you have a choice. Are you going to purchase license for clients as well? Yes, right? That's why you install the server operating system. So you need to have clients. Otherwise, what's the server going to do in this network, right? Nothing. Well, like you said that I am the main resource in this classroom, right? But you are also equally important because you are here to access that resource, right? You come to the class to access or avail that resource, correct? So similarly, the client need to be there. That's why that's the use of the server, right? Otherwise, what the server gonna do? Okay, so installation. Let me give you this start. So you come back tomorrow. So you should be ready to install it. Uh, so minimum system requirement. I think I mentioned those things earlier.
Yes, ma'am.
And processors have mentioned, right? And the memory and the logical, the link I had it. So the installation method, let me give you this quick thought about the installation method. Well, there are different ways to install an operating system on any machine. As I said, pause and pause, please remember those two terms. It's easier to remember, right? Pause for physical operating system and pause for virtual. Like a classroom, this is the virtual classroom. We use a software to set up this classroom, right? In physical classroom, need a building and room and chair and all those things, right? So that's another thing. So similarly, the physical machine require a computer operating Windows operating system to install it, and was also need our operating system to be installed on it. Now, pretty much method is going to be same. Um, the technique would be same whether we install WAS or PAS, Windows Server, whether we install Server 2012 as a virtual operating system or physical operating system, right? So let's consider clean installation. Have you ever installed any operating system on any computer? Do you have any experience in an idea, any thought about any of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Anis says I had installed it. Okay. Just one person have an experience of installation of operating system. Really?
No, ma'am.
Anis,
I
would you like
also.
to? Okay. Gurinder says I did as well. Jaspal has installed. Go say 2, 3 words about what did you do for it? What kind of steps you performed? Any of you, like Gurinder, you want to tell us what did you do there in installation process?
Um, like
The
there are
install.
multiple ways to install it. You can just download the ISO file and just install it.
Yes, you can download iOS file. iOS file is basically
I,
yes, ISO file. Yes,
ISO, yes, ma'am.
ISO file. I'll ask you to download it. Did you download it from the link I had provided you on D12?
No, ma'am.
So please try to do it. And if not today, try to do it during this sessions we have today or tomorrow, or prior or after, whatever you like. So 6 people have an experience of installation. That's very good to know. So if you go to this link, this one, Excuse me. There's a link for server in 10, Windows 10. So if you click on this link, I would ask you to try this one. Not for Windows 10 right away. I may ask you some other times. Windows 10 will make your system a little lethargic because if you are already running Windows 10 there. So there is no use to have another Windows 10 in your setup. I'll give you another client operating system later on. So what I want you to do, one homework. See, server 22 is already launched. Even we haven't entered in server 22. Go to this link from D12. And this one. This is free. So you're going to install data center. We'll do it later, right? So what we're gonna do, I ask you to download, because download requires like, maybe it all depends upon your network speed, right? So how fast your internet connection is. So definitely I cannot ask you to do it during the class because it's gonna suck our class time, you know. So what I ask you to try to do it in some free time if you get a chance, right? Sometimes tonight or sometimes before our, if can be possible before the class, try to download it. Well, you don't have to be in front of computer to download the ISO file. You just need to follow up the procedure and let it to the, and click the download, and it will automatically download, and then we will refer that download file. Correct, Akash, yes. Yes, AnyDesk. I don't understand desk. AnyDesk means what? I don't understand, but please, when you're writing a text message, if you can be like a little bit more elaborated so I can better understand. Anyway, so you download it and try to download, just in case if you couldn't, don't worry, and we can communicate, you know. There is a link, I had set it up there. Did I? So let me show you where you can look for more assistance out of the classroom. Well, you're not in physical classroom. Just in case if you stuck to some point while you're doing the download, let me set up something on D12s where you can ask your class fellows or your friends to help me further with the download problem. Download is not a kind of a skyrocketing thing. You can simply do that. Anyways, just in case if you need more help about it. Let me see if I can create a thread there. Okay, questions and answers. I'm going to create this thread for you. Let me know if you can see there. Questions and answers. Add a topic. Okay, so let me walk you through this job to this point. So this is the thread on D12 under discussion, communication and discussion, where you post your introduction, right? And there you can click on it. And then you can post your questions and answers there. Download and install. Download. Install. Oops. Not correct. Okay. Okay, so you okay, so download and install Windows operating system, right? Windows Server operating system. So you come here to this thread and you post just in case if you had a question, and you can post it here and someone can answer. Not necessarily it has to be me all the time, right? We'll see. You are the first person to address the question and answer there, right? Address your friend or a friend of friend, which is in this class, definitely not out of this class. And then you can don't have to mention the name, just post your queries just in case here, right? Server downloaded. I'm asking for download for now, and where is download? Oops, I initiated. Not really. I don't want to start download at this point. Yes. What happened? Attendance? Really? We're missing? Gotta go? Well, we have to. Akash, I'll help you to install. Yes, you need to install, but not by yourself. I'll help you to install it. But first you need to download the operating system. Okay?
Ma'am?
Very good question, Akash. Which one you have it already? VMware you have?
Yes, ma'am.
Everybody has VMware?
Yes, ma'am.
One yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Well,
ma'am.
VMware is
Yes,
a
ma'am.
VMware is a license. Are you using in any course here?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
In
Yes, ma'am.
in which course you're using VMware?
Linux.
Linux,
Ma'am, we are using Oracle for that course.
Oracle, VM, VirtualBox.
VirtualBox. I think VirtualBox would be easier for everyone, right? Because Oracle
Yes, ma'am.
VirtualBox, because it is for free. It is free,
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
And VMware is also easier, but the thing is you have to have a license for it. I cannot allow you to use an unlicensed product in this course. You understand what I mean? Because
Yes, ma'am.
because copyright is a main concern, here in Canada. So if you say, yes, I have VMware, but I'm not sure if you have purchased a license for it or you're using some whatever version, I'm not sure about it. So what I suggest you, so to be on safe side, right? So use Oracle VirtualBox. As you already have it on your machine, that's going to be helpful. So we will use that Oracle VirtualBox, same VirtualBox like this one, right? You have something on it, right, on your machine. And then there I'll help you to set up your server operating system. Make sense? Hopefully. All right, so let's get to the attendance. And the peoples who are having Windows XP operating system, I want them to please move forward and participate in this class. If you don't have Windows 10 and Windows 7, let us know, right? Because, XP not gonna help for difficult to learn something advanced. So don't just stay quiet. The people who stay quiet, we made a good or bad guess that they have something which is not really clear. So try to be clear on it. Okay, so as you asked me to do the attendance, time for the attendance. Okay. This is our day 3. I don't know which day this number is. I'm a little confused because we have overlap class 3 hours and 4 hours, 2 hours. Anyways, let's assume this is our day 3.
Okay, ma'am.
Consider it as in day 3.
Yes, ma'am.
So time runs fast, 3 hours, or is it runs slowly? Huh?
Went slowly, but it was been informative and really a good one lecture, I guess.
Okay. So this is your guess. Let's check. Let me know that the other people's. Please let me know other people's opinion. It runs fast, or it was boring, or it was very slow. For some people, maybe. Post your
Ma'am, in
comment.
India it is 12:16. That's why.
12:16 means night.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
See,
It's too late.
it's too late. And how about teaching you too early in 7 in the morning? You know.
And it's weekend, ma'am. We can't do party.
And oh, that was the problem. Now I got your point. So that's why they schedule on Saturday, right? Because they know that you cannot go for party at night.
Yes, ma'am. Phase 3 just opened now. Phase 2 is just open now, and we can't go out at the weekend also.
So you can go for a weekend. You can go in weekend, right? Okay. But not in night. Maybe. I don't know. Anyways, so okay, that's why the peoples decided to have Windows XP, right? The rest of the peoples because of the midnight time. Akashdeep,
Yes, ma'am.
Akashdeep,
Yes, ma'am.
Amandeep,
Present, ma'am.
Amanveer,
Present, ma'am.
Arjun,
Present, ma'am.
Arshdeep Singh,
Present, ma'am.
okay, Gurinder,
Present, ma'am.
Gurleen,
Present, ma'am.
Gurmanjot, maybe some of the people went for sleep after wishing their friends for happy birthday, right? Okay, let's go for sleep. That's all we need to do, right? Gurleen Kaur,
Present,
uh,
ma'am.
Harmeet Singh,
Present, ma'am.
Jaspal Singh,
Present, ma'am.
Jetanpreet Kaur,
Present, ma'am.
Jobanpreet Singh,
Yes, ma'am.
Jobanpreet Singh number 2,
Present, ma'am. Present.
okay, Karanveer,
Present, ma'am.
Kulvinder,
Present, ma'am.
Lafpreet,
Ma'am, is it single core?
huh?
Lovepreet single, Lovepreet core.
Lovepreet Kaur,
Present, ma'am.
Lovepreet Singh.
Present, ma'am.
Okay, that's the difference, yeah. Manisha, Manjot Kaur,
Present, ma'am.
Manjot Kaur number 2, absent. Okay, so Mehak Deep Kaur,
Present, ma'am.
Muskan.
Ma'am, Manjot is present.
Is this Manjot talking?
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
okay, Manjot.
Muskan present, ma'am.
Okay. Uh, I marked Manjot present. I don't know how did I do that. Anyways, you're present already in my sheet. Sometimes, when I go in flow, maybe I make mistake. Neha,
Present, ma'am.
Parminder,
Present, ma'am.
Prinkle,
Present, ma'am.
Prinkle Jot.
Present, ma'am.
Ma'am, can we leave now?
Yes. Yeah, we are done. Ravinder,
Present, ma'am.
Robin Preet,
Present, ma'am.
Simranjeet Singh, Simarjeet
Present,
Singh,
ma'am.
Simarjeet
Present,
Singh,
ma'am.
Sukhman Preet Kaur,
Present, ma'am.
Sukhpreet Kaur,
Present, ma'am.
Suman Preet Kaur,
Present, ma'am.
Vanshika,
Present, ma'am.
Bhavesh,
Present, ma'am.
okay, Manveer,
Present, ma'am. Present.
okay, Savapuri,
Present, ma'am.
okay, One second. If Jot,
Present, ma'am.
excuse me, Kapil, Devjot,
Present, ma'am.
Komalpreet,
Present, ma'am.
Nevjot,
Present, ma'am.
Navneet,
Present, ma'am.
Ma'am, second of Jyot is 2 present.
Ma'am, both of Jyot are present.
okay. Tushar,
Present, ma'am.
Mohit,
Present, ma'am.
Ma'am, Kapil is present.
one second. Sahil,
Present, ma'am.
Ranveer, Ranveer. So people are writing in chat box. I'll check the chat box later. Let me complete this.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes. Ranveer.
This is Manisha. Present, ma'am.
Ranveer is there? Absent. Tanu,
Present, ma'am.
Shehbaz,
Present, ma'am.
Shruti,
Present, ma'am.
Monisha,
Present, ma'am.
Shahina,
Present, ma'am.
Harjat,
Present, ma'am.
Karanbir, Kamalpal,
Yes, ma'am. Present.
Vikrant.
Present, ma'am.
Okay. Anish,
Present, ma'am.
okay, all done. Did I miss anyone? So please check
Uh,
under the attendance tab. If you found yourself
Excuse me,
absent,
ma'am.
then yes. Yes, go ahead.
Couple says
Couple says he's there.
couple is here, but his mic is not working. That's why he missed his attendance.
Okay. So try to represent yourself most of the time. If you if that's okay, you're helping, but not all the time. Your friend, you know, and more specifically with the attendance. Well, then only one can represent whole class, right? So he says I'm here, and he says also I am here. Everybody gonna give the responsibility to you to mark their attendance. Do you understand what I mean? um Kapil?
Excuse me, ma'am.
My name is
Oh,
Neha. I'm calling from Progressive Roadside Assistance.